Hello again. Hello again. Alright, I scored a different kind of beer. Thought I would review with you. I've never had this. And this is an Aldis. Aldis has started carrying beer, and they've worked out a clever scheme too. We'll see how clever it is. Hopefully it succeeds, because the price of this beer is a gimmick in itself. So Aldis, right? You're probably familiar with the German-owned grocery franchise, Aldis. They have 2,300 locations across America, and they have like 123 in New York State alone. And I used to work for Aldis in their warehouse. But at any rate, I went up north this past weekend to visit my son and his family, and I was told there that Aldis is selling beer again. I'm like, oh. They said it had a great big lit up beer section now, and I kind of tucked that away in my mind. Yeah, that's different. And my little pumpkin I carved out. It's that time of the year. So I came home, and then a friend of mine posted on his Facebook some Aldis beer. And he said Aldis is selling beer now. That's big news in a small town, all right? So I thought I'd check it out myself, and drove out to Aldis. Eventually found their beer section. This is what I found locally, a picture of it. I took a picture of that section. Now, you might notice there's really not a whole lot, there's some beers here, but hopefully they're going to expand upon that. But the price, $7.99 for a six-pack of IPAs, stouts, German beers, and such. That hasn't been heard of in about, God, 12 years ago maybe? I'm not sure. When's the last picture off? This beer, this six-pack of IPA costs $7.99, not counting tax and deposit. When is the last time a six-pack of IPA cost $7.99? I would know. Let me see if I can remember back that far. I would have to say maybe 2005, something around that time period. And even then it might have been a little more. So the whole gimmick on this is most of all these beers, they're Aldis brand beers. And I'm going to explain their gimmick. Let's take this beer for example. I just grabbed this IPA. It's called Wild Range IPA. Okay, I did a little look up to see who makes this beer, where's it come from. If you dig deep enough, you'll find out Wild Range IPA is brewed by another brewery. It's the same brewery actually, under a different name. It's called Custom Tapped Brews. And if you dig real deep to see who Custom Tapped Brews is and where they're at, you'll find they're brewed probably 100 miles from where I'm sitting in Rochester, New York, in what we all know is the Genesee Brewery. So this beer actually, Wild Range / Custom Tap Brews, is brewed by Genesee Brewery. And that's how it's done with all these beers. They have contracted different breweries in America, East Coast to West Coast. They're trying to stay true to the style. If you buy a German brand or a Dutch or German style beer at Aldis, or a Dutch style beer at Aldis, and you dig, it'll have names like Breckenbach. There's no such thing as Breckenbach. That's an Aldis brand. But it's brewed by a well-known established brewer in Germany or the Netherlands. And some of their Mexican, I haven't had them, but some of their other beers are brewed actually in Guatemala. But this is an American-style IPA, so they contracted Genesee Brewery right here in upstate New York to brew this. And You know, it's priced at $7.99, and they had stouts and everything else for $7.99. What does that tell you about how all these craft breweries are way overpricing their beers? And I've said this for a long time. So really, I don't know how this beer is. I'm going to find out as soon as I stop blabbing so much. But the exciting thing is, they should keep it up. At the price they're brewing this IPA, maybe it'll get the craft brewers to finally drop their prices. Because I've brewed beer, and I know what goes in them. And there is more in this beer than just a light lager. You know, more ingredients, but not that much more to justify doubling the price or better, you know. All right, on to the beer. There's not much to be found about this. I'll light another candle. God damn. All I could find was it's 6.9% alcohol, which is a pretty strong beer. They call it an American lager. An American style IPA. Whatever that is. That's kind of because there's New England IPAs, there's West Coast IPAs, and then the other IPAs presumably are everything else. I don't know. It's very vague. It's an American style IPA. All right? Whatever that is. But hey, it's brewed here in upstate New York. I can't find out the hops they put in it or any of the ingredients. 6.9% alcohol, 65 IBU, so it's going to be pretty bitter, and it's going to need it because 6.9 is a fairly strong beer. Now, I looked at this beer earlier, and I noticed a sediment in the bottom of the bottle, and I could still see it. A sediment settled at the bottom of this bottle, and hopefully that's yeast. Which would be vitamin B12. It might be hops or other things from it's really hard to tell. But this beer has a sediment in the bottom. And again, I would like to think that that's hops, or not hops, but yeast. All right, I'm gonna try this. You can see the Wild Range IPA. Quite frankly, I think that the label packaging's looks kind of generic. I think they could do better than that, but you know, it's priced like generic beer, so maybe that's deliberate. Got a red cap on it. I have no idea if this is going to be any good. If it's not any good at this price, it would make a good choice for a mixer. That is to mix it with a light lager to get it to where you want it. It's just the cheapest IPA. I can't remember when IPA cost $7.99 a 6-pack. 2005, possibly earlier than that. All right, I smell oranges. It doesn't smell grapefruity, and that's, to me personally, that's good because I don't like grapefruity smelling beer. Oranges, smells like oranges, mango. To do with this. I didn't adjust my camera lights, I think, bright enough. Alright, so let's see what this is about. See if it's, you know, God, you gotta take into account the price on this. It's just insane. Alright, so here we go. Let me get this behind it. Pouring kind of hazy, I think. Can't really tell yet. It's kind of fizzy in the mug. See a lot of bubbles, like kind of, you can see the fizz probably better than I can. Alright. Oh, don't break my $60 beer mug or more. Actually, they're go for about 100 new. Very clear. I see a lot of carbon, a lot of bubbles coming up from it. I want to make sure I get all that yeast out of the bottom of this. Well, hopefully I did. I should have switched it around. clear, kind of a medium dark amber, almost orange. Got a nice color to it. Again, it smells of mangoes. I'm not sure mangoes. When's the last time I ate a mango? It smells like oranges, apricots, I would say. All right, here we go. Not bad. I mean, that's my first drink. That didn't gag me, and I was usually, ooh. No, it's fairly smooth. It's a fairly good beer. Honestly, let's just forget the price. I'll just tell you what I think of this beer. As one I've been probably drinking IPAs longer than 98% of the people that drink IPAs now in America. I was a fan of the style before Americans even knew what it was. And that's saying I'm going back to like 1990. I used to travel to Britain just to get the stuff. I was active duty military. I could fly for free. And I did. I get a medium bitterness, kind of a medium bitterness. Got a sweet, kind of fruity up front taste. Medium body. Not bad, honestly, not bad at all for an IPA at all. See, Genesee Brewery brews this beer. I mean, under a couple of different names, they've contracted with Aldis. Which somebody in Aldis, I think, had a very clever idea with that. Because I could go there for $7.99 and buy a 6-pack of their Dutch beer. You know, that's a kickoff from Beck's or Heineken's. I don't know, I'll review some of their other beers. Give me something to do, something to look forward to. I was offered a job today at the hospital. This is nothing to brag. It's a brag. I don't care. I'm retired Army. I need to go back to work. I'm not proud. I'm going to go back to work. I hope, maybe, I might take this job at the hospital as a janitor at nights. You know, I went to college to be a doctor. I never told anybody that. But I actually originally wanted to be a physician, and I tried really hard, but I couldn't, my math skills weren't good enough. So that's when I turned my degree around to do something else, but I'll work there. You know, it's just to be around people who need help, and maybe it'll put me around people that could use company or some prayers. The pay isn't bad either. It's just supplemental income to my retirement. You know, I really like this beer, honestly. It's got a very nice color to it, for one thing. I mean, what would you call this? Kind of an orange amber? That's nice. This is good beer. Got fairly good lacing, you can see. Oh, it drinks pretty well. Honestly, this is a good beer. I mean, everybody has their own taste in beers, but I really didn't think this was going to be any good. Genesee Brewery can make a good beer, and they're capable of brewing very good beers, but they brew for the masses, quite frankly. And they stick to their old standard Jenny Cream Ale and Jenny Regular and Jenny Light, which are okay beers. Jenny Cream Ale has a cult following. I'm not among that group. Every once in a blue moon, if I get a wild hair, I'll drink some Jenny Cream Ale for the olden days, because that's like the beer I drank when I was 18 or 19. And you could drink beer in the state legally then, at that age. This is pretty darn good, and honestly, I'm very pleasantly surprised. I really wasn't expecting it to be any good. I mean, I tracked it down. It's brewed by Jenny Brewery, like I just said. And they're quite capable of brewing very good beers, and I've said that before. but they're also quite capable of screwing up some of the stuff they come up with. But they hit this one right on the head. Yeah, Jenny Brewery, me go back. When I was a teenager, they used to have the malt house. It was in Sodas Point, up on Lake Ontario, where I used to live. And everybody wanted to get a job at the Genesee Malt House because, you know, we had rumors went around that you got free beer on Fridays. Oh yeah, you want to work at the Malt House. I don't think it's there anymore, but they're still in Rochester. I say good. It's very good. It's very well balanced. It's got a pretty good taste. It's not over the top bitterness. I don't get any of the grapefruity sharp bite bitterness that 65 IBUs hops could produce if you use the wrong type of hops or use them the wrong way. This is pretty mellow, pretty soft, but it is definitely an IPA. I mean, you get the hops in it, but not to the point. You know, you get a strong hops presence in this, but it doesn't make you retch. You know, ugh. I guess that's my impression of a retch. Ugh. Some beers can do that. I mean, I've had IPAs that one drink off, I'm like, ugh. You probably use it for paint remover or something. It's got pretty good lacing, as you can see. This is a pretty good IPA, honestly. I mean, if it was, I think the fact that it's $7.99 a six-pack makes it taste all the much better. If this beer, let's say this beer costs $14 a six-pack, because right around here for a six-pack of IPA is usually about $12.99, around $12 or $13 a six-pack on the average. So this is almost, not quite, half that cost, like 40% cheaper. Let's say this beer costs $13, $14, like all their other IPAs around here, the competition. Would I still think it tasted that good? I would say yes. I would say it's good IPA. It's very drinkable. I've had better, but I would say it's better than most. I would put it, like, of all the IPAs I've had, I put it in the top 10 or 15%. Really, there are a few better, but not a whole lot, honestly. And those that are better than this are, by my own taste, they're only better by a little bit. And when you take the price into account, this is a very good IPA. Yes, a budget good IPA. And I said at the beginning of this review, I hope they succeed in this, and it will cause the other brewers to lower the prices on their IPAs, hopefully. Because right now, I'll try their stout. I was going to buy the stout. I'll try the stout, but they've got like 3 or 4 IPAs, one stout. I don't know, a lot of their stuff was sold out, so I don't know what the rest is. We'll check them out. See, I read that some of their beers were award winners. I mean, they did not contract brewers that were upstarts. They contracted, from what I saw, they contracted brewers that are established. I mean, yeah, they just don't contract any startup brewery. They're all established. Established. That's probably French for established. I'm just having fun. I'm still hoping to go to France again in a few months. This time stay a while. Hey Google, how do you say established in French?
Here are some results.
Oh, say it. Hey Google, how do you say established in French?
In French, that's établi.
Établi. Établi. Alright, I'm being a goof. Aldis IPA, this IPA. Wild Range IPA. It's a hit, definitely. It's a pretty good IPA by itself, and for me, it's brewed locally. That's another up for me. I mean, I always like to support your local brewery. And then the price, $7.99 6-pack. And in some places less than that, I've read. It's like, I'm on board with their game plan here, totally. Oh, it does drink very well. I'd say, yeah, I'm going to change that. I'm at the end of this bottle, this glass, and I will say, forget the price, forget Aldi's, forget the gimmick, the idea that they've got, which I think is very novel. I don't know. By itself, this is a very good IPA. I would say now I'm going to up that to, I put it in the top 5 or 10% of the IPAs I've drank. I just don't understand why Jenny Brewery hasn't done this on their own. They don't. They just keep brewing the beers I don't like. Jenny Brewery brews really good beers, but they're not beers I like. They'll brew a Kolsch, which I like a Kolsch. It's a German ale, not well known. I've had it in Germany, and there's a few good examples in America. And Jen's favorite beer was a Kolsch. And Jenny Brewery brews a Kolsch at a budget price like this, honestly. And they put cranberries in it. They put cranberries in their Kolsch. Man, Jenny Brewery's they know how to brew good beer, but for some reason, this is the best thing to come out of Genesee Brewery. And the shame is they can't have their name on it. You got to do some research. So yeah, this is good brew. All right, that's it. Good lacing too. Come on, Genesee Brewery, get it together. That's another thing. Jenny beers, even when they brewed a dark beer, when they tried brewing some other beers styles, their prices were always cheap. So they know how to brew these kind of beers cheap, obviously. All right. I just would like to see more of this because I know what goes into these beers, and it doesn't really justify the price that a lot of breweries are charging for their craft beers. Their porters, their stouts, their IPAs, and such. Yes, this is very good. This is a pleasant surprise. So if you like beer, go get down to your local Aldi's and see if they got a beer department. Check it out. This one's a winner if you like IPAs.